guys, this is a video for people who have got phobia of driving. Somebody who would probably say, I'm petrified of driving, I'm fearful of driving, worried about driving, but they've got a small element of them left inside them to still learn to drive. So it's not a total, I'm never going to do that. There's this little bit where we're still together and they're going to have some driving lessons. So I'm talking to somebody like that. So this video is for you, and it's all my experience that I've got in 22 years. So first of all, if that's you, well done, okay? Well done for being in the car, because it's massive. And if somebody hasn't said that to you, I want to say it, because you're dealing with a phobia, and that's amazing. So well done for that straight away. I am going to hazard a guess, okay, of why this has happened, okay, with the experience that I've got. Now, obviously, I'm talking to a huge range of people, so I'm just going to say what my experience is and why this has potentially happened. So, number one, maybe you've been in a car accident in any time of your life. Doesn't matter whether you were driving or whether somebody else was driving or whether you were a child, that you were physically in an accident, or maybe you saw a film, a television program, and it frightened you, okay, when you were a kid, and you've stored it and you've kept it with you, okay. It could also be that you potentially tried to learn to drive and somebody took you too quickly into a situation that you weren't ready for, okay. So I met a student the other day, and his first driving lesson ever was an hour drive to his school. Immediately onto the road in a car that doesn't have dual controls. No. that he's lucky that he hasn't become petrified. He's done very well, actually. Very, very well. He's good. But I would say that is extremely rare. Most of the time, that is going to frighten people. You may have adopted fear from somebody who has looked after you. If you have seen somebody driving who's scared, you may have taken that on. It is amazing how much driving is catchy. If somebody turns their wheel in crossing their hands, or puts their hands inside, or puts the handbrake on, it goes click, 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 or there's other, you can take on people's driving. You take it in like a sponge. It's amazing. When I'm teaching somebody to drive and they do something like put their hand inside like this, they've learnt that. That's learnt behaviour. They've seen it and marked it that it's normal, and that's what happens. So if you're a child and you've seen somebody driving and they're scared, it's easy to take that on. A little bit like somebody's scared of spiders, like your caregiver, your parent, and they're scared of spiders. You take that on. You literally just take that fear on, okay? So, first of all, if you are still learning to drive because you have to, and you say, oh, I've got a driving lesson, I can't stand that today. I hate the fact that I've got that, but I'm doing it. I've met people like that a lot. And when I have somebody like that, I go into really big care mode. I look after these people. I would say that it's probably one of my talents, okay? I'm quite good at looking after people who are very, very nervous. Now, the first thing that you need to understand if you are one of these people is you need to be very, very kind to yourself. You're in it for the long haul. You need to dedicate, okay? And you need to go up the staircase of learning very, very carefully. You need to learn about the car, all of the controls, how it works. You need a total dedication on the clutch, the gears, if you're driving a manual car. It's very important that you don't just go straight onto a roundabout or straight onto the main road. It's so important that these people are looked after and nurtured, okay? So you need to really dedicate. In your mind, you need to dedicate to it. You can't really think that I'm I'm going to have my license in July when it's January. That's too much. That's too much. You need to relax into it and accept it as part of your life for a while, and that's what you do. You need to find a driving instructor like you would do a therapist. You need to make sure that that person is going to protect your mind as well as teach you how to drive. You need to get on with that person. You need to trust them. You need to trust them that they're looking after you and they hold you in deep respect. You don't want anyone to tamper with any more of your feelings, okay? So, unfortunately, one-to-one tuition, yeah, I mean, you can talk to people about who's kind and nice and do some research, okay? It's very important that you don't just blindly go out there and try and find a driving instructor, okay? Because you need to have word of mouth. How is this person going to treat you in the car? So try and go on forums and find out who was kind and who was patient, okay? Choose the gender that you want. You know, if you feel more comfortable with a female, go with a female. If you feel more comfortable with a male, go with a male. I wanted to have a male driving instructor. How ironic is that? I wanted a male driving instructor. It's just I got brought up by my brothers, right? So I'm just more comfortable with men, okay? So choose the gender carefully. Do some research. Feel into the energy of the car and make sure that this person has respect. Make sure that they know what they're talking about, perhaps, you know? I know we've all got to start somewhere, and I've been told often for this before, but if you are that nervous, you're going to want somebody who's got years in the industry and they know what they're talking about. Let's just say you've got a clutch problem. It may just be a chair-seated position. Your chair may just be in the wrong place. And if your instructor is taking 5 to 6 hours to find that out, it's just another thing, okay? So the feeling of it, when you get into the car, there has to be kind of like feelings that you do. You need to start to kind of like anchor in a safety feeling. Once you've got your instructor, once you're feeling safe and you're thinking, yeah, I trust this person. They're always kind to me. They're always patient with me. And we're doing this together. We are a team. Yeah, we're a team. Doesn't matter if you're holding your full license or whether, you know, if you're just having refresher lessons, you still need to have this team. Don't for a minute think that just because you've got your full license that you should be out there doing everything. If you haven't been able to like gain this confidence and you feel like you slipped through the net years ago and you passed your test and you're still petrified or whatever, make sure that you still go through these motions that I'm telling you about. You still need to find a driving instructor who is kind, calm, patient, yeah, looks after you, okay? You can do other things when you get in the car, right? Make sure that you don't have any, like, too much coffee. Yeah, I've had people, like, have, like, six Red Bulls before to give themselves, like, just be kind to yourself, get sleep. Yeah, it's a dedication. And then when you do stuff like this, when you put your seatbelt on and you hear it click, you go, I am safe. So you go like this. That noise, I am safe. You need to anchor those feelings. Hold the steering wheel. I am in control. I am in control. Other things like, I don't care about other people's opinions because I am the most important. Think about your favourite loved one in the car, your pet, your favourite person. Okay, if you feel that you need to protect somebody else as well, imagine them in your car. I'm going to be protecting my dog, my cat, my person, yeah? And they are in the car and I'm looking after them as well. Let me tell you, when I had children, there is nothing on the planet that would make me pull out of a T-junction if somebody was beeping me from behind. If I had my little babies in the car, they're grown up now, but if I had my little babies in the car and I looked in my mirror and somebody was giving me a hard time and swearing, there's nothing on the earth that would move my car forward because my children win, yeah? So fictionally, if you need to, put somebody in the car that you would think, I would never move the car because of this stranger who's giving me a hard time, which is rare, by the way. I've got to say, it's rare. Road rage of that extent, I'm on the road all the time, 22 years. To that extent, it's quite rare. I'd give it a 2 out of 10 for somebody to really be losing it behind. And it's normally not about you. Normally something awful's happened to them, right? I mean, who can lose their temper about the road that much? Something's happened to them, okay? Maybe their missus has just had an affair. You know, maybe they've just lost their business. Maybe something else has happened, okay? If you find that somebody has really lost it like that, it's rare. Get to the next safe place, pull up on the left, realise it's got nothing to do with you, and let them overtake you. Okay, it's over when you pull up. I had a student once when we had like somebody like that behind us, and I was like, okay, what do you think is the safest thing to do? And she was like, go faster, get away from this person. If we do that, not only are we in danger, but we're also keeping that person behind us. We don't want that. We want to park and get rid of them. We want them out of our lives forever. Once they've overtaken us in a crazy way, they've gone, okay? We can see the dust from their wheels and they've gone. Who cares, right? Bye. See ya. Have a nice day. Right? But you need to put yourself first and be kind and climb the level of control. Know how the biting point, make sure you know how the clutch works. If you're a nervous person, make sure if you're driving a manual car that you know what the clutch is, what it is, how it works, how to change down, how to control speed. You also need to look to see how far down the road to look. If you're looking at the floor, we're going to make lots of mistakes. Go and check my other video called Don't Look Down. I'll try and link it below if I remember. I make these videos sometimes and I forget. Don't look down. And I do exercises about where to look. If you look down at the floor, not only will you be like driving like this and changing position, but you won't see your hazards. So I know I know at first it feels scary, but you do need to have like a far, middle, near, mostly far and middle, because what's near, your eyes will look at anyway. If a bird swoops down, you're going to look at it anyway. You can't not. It's impossible. You need to hold on to statements like, if you don't know, don't go. And that's when you need to drop the feelings of the person behind. I had somebody pass recently, a mature student, and it was wonderful, right? Took 3 attempts, and she was a mature student coming up to 60 years old, and it was a journey, and it was really nice. And we celebrated so hard that day when she'd passed. She was a nervous student. She bought a car after she passed. She went out in it, and within half an hour her husband had really undone quite a lot of the confidence that we had built as a partnership together, because some people are just not very good at being passengers, okay? And I feel that sometimes men they can feel like it's their domain, and I kind of get that, but it's a machine, and men are a lot of the time good with machines, and not all the time, obviously, but that can happen. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure from a man, you know, if they're sat in the passenger seat. It's a little bit like a man walking a small dog sometimes, you know. It's like if they're sat in the passenger seat, I feel like they need some to say something, you know, if they're the driver. But she didn't go into 5th gear. She'd got this brand new car. She didn't go into 5th gear, and she stopped at some of the junctions, you know, because she didn't know her car. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just for a few hours, it doesn't matter. Okay, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a beep whilst you're learning a new car. You've never sat in that new car. You don't know the clutch. You need to go to a side road really to learn it, okay? You do need to do that. When you buy a new car, you can't really just get into it if you've been a nervous driver and just drive off. If you've been a nervous driver, you need to take that car somewhere and learn the clutch, because you're probably going to stall it, yeah? And you need to get used to the size of it and stuff like that, you know? And be kind to yourself. Does it really matter on this short stretch of 60 that we don't use 5th? You know, if you've only got up to 5, does it really matter? It's just going to cost a little bit more money in petrol. Does it really matter whilst you just get to grips with your car? Does it really matter that we go down and use first gear? Does it really, really matter whilst you just get used to it? No, it doesn't. Because after a while, when you gain that confidence, then you'll just do it anyway, okay? You need to be kind to yourself, yeah? So choose your instructor carefully. Dedicate to it. It's a dedication. If you've got a phobia of driving, it's a dedication. You know, you can go and see people to help you take medication, maybe beta blockers from the doctor. I don't know how bad it is. I've had people throwing up and all sorts of stuff. You can get beta blockers, okay? You can see hypnotherapists maybe to calm yourself, to do things like hearing the click and I am safe. I am in control. I know how this car works. It's just a machine. I'm not going to worry about the person behind me because inside the car is more important. My dog, my cat, my person. I protect myself, number one. I protect myself over anyone else, okay? Stuff like that, okay? So choose your person carefully and dedicate time to it. And don't put yourself under any pressure. Don't say to yourself, oh, in a year I'm going to have my license. I know that those goals are nice, but not when you've got phobia. Just have it as a new hobby in your life. A new hobby. And you spend lovely time with a lovely person who cares about you, who is trying to help you improve your life, who is holding you carefully. You know, they're pushing you to do it, okay? It's not like they're trying to keep you forever. It's that feeling of a gentle, let's do this, yeah? Let's do this today. Let's get you independent. Let's get your confidence up, yeah? But they're really taking care of you as well. And you can feel that, you know. You're probably a very empathetic person if you've developed a phobia. The other people that can be like this as well is when people have very, very powerful jobs. I've noticed that if people work at GCHQ or they have very, very intellectual jobs, those people find it difficult to drive because they're always in control. It's black and white. It's quite difficult for them to see the grey and to work on the spot. They can get very, very nervous if something goes wrong. I remember there's lots and lots of examples I can give you with extremely intelligent people. They find it hard. If that's a challenging student, that, you know, if somebody's got a high-powered job, driving isn't always easy for those people. Because if they make a mistake, they don't want to be seen to be making a mistake. I've got a very strong memory of one of them stalling inside a crossroads, and it was a disaster. I had to just, let's keep calm. I've got this. I've got you. Let me help you. I have this. I have got control. Don't worry. I have this. Because they just fell to pieces, okay? So it's got nothing to do with like jobs and you know, anything like that. Intelligent level, you know, it's been an interesting journey these 22 years. It really has. And phobic sort of drivers, of people who have got a phobia about driving, is rare. But when it is, it is. And you have to be very, very gentle and caring and kind and give in to the time. And it's just a hobby now. With an end goal, of course, but it's more of a hobby that you need to take on. It's an exercise that you do with a very trusted person until you can get there, okay? And you can, let me tell you, you can. You absolutely can, I promise. It's absolutely possible if you are looked after by the right person. Strongly believe, okay? I really hope this helps somebody today, and I'll see you on the next one.